Good evening. You'll notice tonight that we have quite a few guests up here. These are some of our brightest students in the district, and actually they were forced to be our shadows tonight. They lost a bet. So at this time, my shadow is from Cy Woods, Spencer Wagley, and he's actually going to run the meeting. I'm going to take Mark, and we're going to head down to the... No, we're not. No,
Not me.
I'd turn it over to Spencer now. All right, Spencer. I'm back here if you need me. Here.
So the Board of Trustees of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District is now convened in a regular meeting on Monday, April 20th, 2015, in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District Instructional Support Center at 10300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas, at 6 p.m. I want to welcome the members of our audience and our television viewers to this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibilities of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to the items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by section 551.071 to 551.084 inclusive of the Texas Government Code. These proceedings are aired live on the CFTV Channel 16 and the CFTV online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcasted throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize our Community Leadership Committee members who are in attendance this evening and some of our AVP students from Cypress Creek High School, Joshua Ricks, Adore Manasala, Jake Meeks, Gabriel Hall from Cy Falls High School, Saltilik Z. Martinez-Faz from Cypress Ranch High School, Katie Main and Melina Kozme from Jersey Village High School, Alan Jaquis Oraso from Cy Woods High School, Matthew Banzer, and Troop 44 working on the Communications Merit Badge. And their advisors tonight are Jan Bullock, Cypress Creek High School, Sherry Frank, Cypress Falls High School, Dustin Boucher, Cypress Ranch High School, Cynthia Stroker, Jersey Village High School, and Lori Andre, Cypress Woods High School. There will be an invocation. There will be a pledge of allegiance to the flag. Tonight's invocation will be presented by Teresa Hull, Associate Superintendent for Government Relations, Communications, and Chief of Staff. Cypress Ridge High School JROTC cadets will present the flags for the Pledge of Allegiances are Hannah Good, Paul Barron, Chin Chiwing, and Angela Morales. The sponsors are Lieutenant Commander Porfirio Munzo and Sergeant James Core. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Board Member Tom Jackson will read the district vision and mission statement for the benefit of the audience.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for this most gorgeous day, and thank you for the many volunteers who give their time and gifts out of concern for our students and staff. We ask for your blessings for those who find joy in serving others. We also thank you for our students. They are the sole purpose of this organization, and we know you have placed them in our care for a reason. Lord, we bring the challenges that face this district to you and ask that you provide guidance to our Board of Trustees so that they may make the best decisions for our children and employees. And as we do each time we meet, we ask for your protection of our soldiers and for peace in this world. In your most holy name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
My board shadow, Sarah Raymond, will now read the vision statement and the mission statement.
The vision statement: learn, empower, achieve, dream, lead. Mission statement: maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be the 21st century global leaders.
We will now move on to special recognition portions of the agenda. The board will recognize students who participated in the board shadowing project. Presenter Lena Mock.
President Ryan, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. It's my pleasure to introduce to you this evening the students participating in CFISD's annual board shadowing event. The students in attendance tonight each represent one of the 11 high schools in our district. According to the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills Objectives, understanding how school districts govern is a requirement for the U.S. government course. Tonight's board shadowing event provides students with the opportunity to observe firsthand the functions of the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees and administrative team. We greatly appreciate our board members and the administrative team for supporting the students of Cypress-Fairbanks in this learning experience. We would also like to thank the families, friends, teachers, and administrators who came here tonight to support these students. Please stand so that we may show our appreciation through applause. board shadowing event reflects the strong partnership that bonds all Cy-Fair stakeholders in providing one of the most memorable learning experiences for our students. We are very proud of all that these students have accomplished. Please join me with one more round of applause welcoming these students. Thank you.
And let's go ahead and start, Marnie, at y'all's table with your shadow, and then we'll work our way back around this way.
Good evening, President Bryan and members of the board. I've had the honor to sit and visit with Ryan Lambright, a senior from Cy Falls High School. And he actually is one of our homegrown students. He started at Owens Elementary, then middle school at Libi, and then, as I said, high school at Cypress Falls High School. His most challenging course that he listed is pre-cal, but some of his favorite courses, he said he's had several that he's really enjoyed, including astronomy, PALS, and photography. In fact, one of his goals in life is to be a photographer. And not just a photographer, but a wildlife photographer. And he shared with me some photos that he's taken, which are quite interesting. He's had the opportunity to shadow a photographer in Estes Park, right? At Estes Park, Colorado, and took all these different shots of some awesome animals out there. After high school, he plans to attend the University of Houston and attend the Bauer Business School and major in marketing, management, or have an entrepreneur program there. And then he is sitting appropriately here because he's also thinking of law school. And so I'm just hoping Marnie doesn't scare him off with that aspect. He has one brother who is younger than him but taller than him now, and attends Libi? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, attends Libi Middle School. And so I'm very honored to have had the pleasure to visit and have Ryan as my shadow.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to share a little bit about my shadow this evening, Kanika Sayal, who is a senior at Cypress Springs High School. Kanika attended Feast, Libi, Cy Falls, and now Cypress Springs. She's a member of the National Honor Society, Student Council, and Key Club. When we talked about her favorite classes, she mentioned a couple. First and foremost was government, and just talked about how much the teacher related to not only her, but her classmates as well, and how he made government fun. And then anatomy and physiology, and you'll see perhaps a connection to that a little later. Her most challenging class, when we talked about that, engineering and design. And I think some of that has to do with a project she's got on Friday involving making a parachute that has to do all these different things. So good luck on that. I know that you and your classmates, she was selected as the team leader, so I know that they are in good hands. Kanika does have one sibling, a brother, who is a sophomore at Cypress Falls High School. And when she's not studying, she loves to read, to dance, to work out, and to eat healthy. Now, her plans after she graduates, and she did share with me, she didn't use the word senioritis, but I can tell you she's very excited about graduation, and she wishes that it was even tomorrow. But she plans to go to the University of Texas at Austin once she graduates, and she will study to become a registered dietitian. So we're trying to work and see if she could help us out with the board and the cabinet to see if you could be our honorary dietitian to keep us healthy, okay? It is a pleasure to visit with and just to share a little bit about Kanika with you. Welcome.
It's my pleasure to introduce my board shadow, Josh Head. Josh is a senior at Cypress Creek High School and has attended Moore Elementary School and Blyle Middle School prior to going to Cy Creek. Josh is a senior football player, is a linebacker, and in fact has earned a four-year football scholarship to Texas Lutheran University and will be playing for them and also majoring in accounting when he graduates and gets up to Texas Lutheran. So quite a bit of we have a lot of things in common between the two of us. He loves sports, particularly obviously football, but he also loves basketball and all other sports as well. He likes to work out. One of his favorite classes is he's in the culinary arts class and enjoys cooking. But his favorite class is pre-cal. You know, that's pretty amazing because I was never really very good at math, you know. But
Yeah. We know. We know.
Josh has three siblings, an older brother and an older sister, as well as a younger brother. And so Josh has a great future in store for him, and we're really pleased to be able to have him tonight. And it's been a pleasure for me to get to know him a little bit tonight. So please welcome Josh Head tonight.
Well, I've had a great time getting to know Courtney Cernasek. She has just been a delight to visit with. She is a senior at Cy Fair, and she went to school at both Lampkin and Arnold before she started at Cy Fair. She is going to be going to UT because she's been accepted into the McCombs School of Business, and if you know anything about that, that's a big deal. She needs to get a round of applause for that right now. She hasn't decided which major she will study at the school. It might be accounting or management or marketing, but she's definitely going to be in the business school. Her toughest class was Spanish 4 AP, but mainly because it was her first AP class. Now she's quite good at AP classes and all of her other classes. She was on the drill team her sophomore and junior year and then shifted to choir, where she's a member of the varsity chorale. And she really loves to sing. She attributes her love of singing to her grandpa because he plays the guitar and sings and leans towards the country songs, so she enjoys those, but she also likes the pop songs. She's a member of Spanish National Honor Society and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and she is the president of the Key Club. She volunteers at her church, and she likes to spend time with her family and her friends and her two dogs. She works part-time at Sterling Country Club, where she helps with events there. Prom is Friday night, and I did see a picture of the dress, and it's really, really cute. But the one thing that I did want to say is that I did speak with her dad a bit. He played basketball at Cy Fair High School with Don Ryan. And so as the evening progresses or over the next few months, I might have other key things to say. Join me in welcoming Courtney.
It is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce to you the multifaceted Sarah Raymond from Cypress Lakes High School. Sarah was nominated by Margaret Sullivan, teacher by day and professor by night, but she was selected by the entire Government and Economics Department as being the best of the best. I spoke to her father, her principal, as well as her teacher, and interestingly enough, they all chose the same adjectives to describe her: brilliant, focused, disciplined, all coupled with a strong work ethic. Sarah collects accomplishments as if she were stringing pearls to wear as a necklace. National Honor Society, President Mu Alpha Theta, National Science Honor Society, National Art Honor Society, President of HOSA, Future Healthcare Professionals. She is conversational in Spanish, but also Urdu, spoken in India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. She volunteers as a tutor at Debbie Emery Elementary School and works as a pharmacy intern during the week. She will take her pharmacy technician license exam this summer and undoubtedly will pass it. After high school, she plans to wear the red of the University of Houston because they have offered her a full scholarship to attend. She is following the pre-law track while she's there. However, let us not forget that I said she was multifaceted, and so are her future educational and career paths. One pathway takes her into the medical field as a pharmacist or perhaps as a physician. Her true passion, though, lies in obtaining an undergraduate degree in political science with an emphasis on gender studies, where a knowledge of Urdu becomes most enhancing. Her teacher visualizes Sarah as a future intern in our nation's capital. Prior to commencing her advanced studies, she would like to undertake her version of the Grand Tour with many of the same aims. She repeated to me something Pam Wells told me before she left Cy Fair. Life is more than numbers. The arts and music make us human. Sarah is an ardent feminist and believes that this is part of her core beliefs. I spent the evening, I think, talking to my youngest daughter. She plans to pursue her master's and her doctorate in international affairs and work with the UN providing better access for women in education, healthcare, and employment. Another passion of Sarah's is pursuing justice for the common good, but also through the political system. Perhaps a Juris Doctor lies at the end of her undergraduate studies. I will close with her eloquent words. Sarah wants to help those who cannot help themselves in creating a better society, one individual at a time. Please help me welcome Sarah Raymond.
Sarah, that's good that you're sitting by Dr. Henry because he was a pharmacist in high school. Sorry.
But it can't be good.
No, it's not. It's my pleasure to reintroduce Spencer Wagley. He's been doing a great job so far in the meeting. Give him a hand, please. There's nothing, what y'all may not realize, they come in and we have a dinner with them beforehand, and Spencer was running a little bit behind, not a big deal, but he walks in and I said, introduced myself, I said, hey man, you're doing the meeting tonight. And Deborah Stewart goes, do you want to do the meeting? He goes, I don't know. Spencer's a senior at Cypress-Wood High School. He also attended Sampson and Goodson, so he's a career CFISD student. His government teacher that recommended him is George Villamagna, and it's his sixth period class. Spencer's got some big plans, and really they revolve around service, because right after high school he's going to take a quick, I guess a mini-mester, would you say, type of deal at 8 weeks at BYU, and then he is going on a mission, 2-year mission with the Latter-day Saints. And so I think we all know, you've seen them come across them, they're very selfless service, and I just think that speaks a lot of his character to go off right away, 2-year mission, and then after that he'll come back and go to college at BYU, and he also plans to attend graduate school at BYU when he finishes, and he's going to be going to, I guess this would be the equivalent of the Macomb School, the Marriott School of Management on the BYU campus. After college, he'd like to enter the corporate world in some form of either marketing, finance, or management. He does have a date for the prom, so now, if you're thinking about it, you're like, man, he's doing a good job. I think I want to see if he wants a prom date. Nope, it's over. During high school, all 4 years, he swam and was on the water polo team at Cy Woods. This year, though, was a big year because he told me he was pumped because he made it to regionals. And in some of the previous years, like one year he tied some dude, and that guy was a senior, so he got to go, and he kind of got hosed. And then he broke his collarbone, so he missed it that next year. But this year, he was a regional qualifier, and I think that's fantastic. His most challenging class in high school is chemistry, and his favorite class has been U.S. History AP. He likes swimming, reading, church service, spending time with friends, and learning additional things that interest him. He also has 3 younger sisters who are probably ready for him to leave the house when they start dating.
One of them was already planning to take my room.
Exactly. He said one of them's already planned to take his room. So probably got the paint out and everything.
He does.
Please join me in welcoming Spencer Wagley.
All right, good evening. I would like to introduce Faith Wright. I've had such a fun night already, and I think we're going to get in trouble for side talking during the whole meeting, so just please excuse us. Faith attends Cypress Ranch High School, and we were talking about, she's been in the district her whole life too. She was when the Alt-Keith separation happened, you know, and my daughters went to Alt, and so she went to Keith. I said, that's why I don't know you right now. But she went to Spillane. She's at Cy Ranch. She has one younger brother who's at Salyards right now. And she just has been so much fun talking to her, and she talks very well. I
try.
Exactly. See, she's captain of the debate team at Ranch. She's the first ever Ranch student to make it to state in the school's history. So I think that's a great accomplishment. I think it's really neat. She has early release at school, and that's because she wants to stay after and help the junior varsity debate team. So she volunteers with them, and I think that's very impressive. And she wants to major in law, but she has figured out that helping and teaching that other team has really I kind of like teaching. So I decided she can be a professor, a law student, or a law professor. But she is going to, through the CAP program, she's going to start in Tyler and then attend UT. And I think they're very, very lucky to have her, and I'm so thankful that she's my shadow tonight. So, Faith Wright.
Good evening. It's an absolute pleasure to introduce to you Alex Kramer, who is a senior at Jersey Village High School. She's involved in the choir as well as student council. She is on her way to attend Washington University in St. Louis, which happens to be my birthplace, U-City in St. Louis. She's been accepted there into the College of Arts and Sciences. She has interests in English, history, English literature, journalism, European history, and anything else you can imagine. Very creative. She enjoys singing, reading, and fashion. And she's also a world traveler. She is an alumni of the Dwight D. Eisenhower People to People Student Ambassadorship Program, of which she traveled with my daughter 2 summers ago and toured Italy and France and things of that nature. She's a lifetime Cy-Fair. That's what I'm just calling, elementary, middle school, and high school. We're looking forward to some great things coming from Alex Kramer. Let's give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen.
And I'm on the last one, and I tell you what, it's nothing more exciting than to realize our future is in excellent hands, and that our future in public school education is accomplishing amazing things with students that we are very proud to call our own. This is Sam Witherspoon, who is a senior at Langham Creek High School, also a full product of our school system, starting at Copeland and then to Aragon and now at Langham Creek. Like I said, he's a senior and he's planning to attend Texas Christian University in the fall of 2015, thinking seriously about, I'm sorry?
Go Frogs.
Last year you stole my shadow, and don't do it again. Don't do it again. Did you bring candy again tonight? Okay, all right. So he's going to Texas Christian University. They are the Horned Frogs. Thank you for reminding me that. And he's planning, or had thought, he would go into finance, but he's also interested in political science. His challenging course is English 3, and he loves playing tennis, which he did all through high school, and basketball with his buddies. He won the Chancellor's Scholarship at TCU on academics, and also his interview. Like I said, he played tennis. He is also president of NHS, and he's also a member of the Fred Factor and the amazing Wolf Pack that got their football team almost to where they wanted it to go.
Almost.
He's also participated in mission trips, and can't even read my writing on that. Oh, he's been part of the Superintendent's Advisory Council. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you Mr. Sam Witherspoon, who will one day be President of the United States. Sam?
Thank you. Now we will move on to the special recognition portion of the agenda. The board will recognize, I've repeated myself, as you can tell. The board will recognize Amanda Niebuhr, a junior at Cy Fair High School, for rescuing the child of a Cy Fair educator. And I think Mike Smith will.
Spencer, President Ryan, Board of Trustees, Dr. Henry, it is a pleasure to present to you this evening a Cy Fair High School student has distinguished herself in a manner that we are all proud of and strive to emulate. Amanda was driving to school on March 25th along Highway 290 eastbound feeder when a car accident occurred directly in front of her. An SUV swerved, lost control, went airbound, and rolled twice as it tried to avoid a truck that was merging into its lane. Amanda immediately stopped her car, ran to aid the accident victims. She helped a 4-year-old girl and the driver safely out of the car. Then she tended to the little girl, keeping her calm and making sure she was okay until the paramedics arrived. Her quick thinking and calm actions were extremely impressive, and I believe we all hoped that we could and would react in the same way. But what makes her actions a bit more special is that the driver involved in the accident was a Cy Fair High School staff member, and the little girl was the staff member's daughter. Amanda did not know this when she stopped to render aid. She said she figured it out. Several other staff members in their staff shirts started to arrive and make sure the driver was okay. Amanda was more concerned about the welfare of the victims and that they were taken care of than letting anyone know who she was. We were later told by one of the paramedics that the Good Samaritan who was first on the scene and took control to ensure everyone's safety was a Cy Fair High School student. Amanda is one of our athletic trainers that deals with athletic injuries most on a daily basis. It does not shrink to the stress, but finds her inner strength to help others. Will Amanda's mother, Sheila, and any Cy Fair High School member please stand for recognition? Amanda, we are very proud of you and thankful that you are who you are, a calm, quick-thinking, and caring person who not only thinks of others, but acts on those beliefs. Thank you.
And I'd like to thank Amanda personally because I know the people that were in that accident, and it's very nice to know that you were able to help these individuals I've attended church with for years. And now, next portion of the agenda is the board will recognize the Second Baptist Church and the Home Depot for their partnership, service, and commitment to Cy Fair ISD through a donation of labor and supplies to enhance several schools. Presenter Leslie Francis.
Good evening. President Ryan, Board of Trustees, Dr. Henry, and Board Shadows. It is my distinct pleasure to recognize two of our community partners this evening, Second Baptist Church Cypress and Home Depot, for their campus beautification efforts during spring break. You may have seen in the media earlier this spring that Second Baptist Church adopted two of our campuses, Alt Elementary and Salyards Middle School. Yet for spring break, they extended their reach far beyond these two schools to Francone, Walker, Horn, and Sheridan Elementaries, and Cypress Lakes High School. Second Baptist Church sought out supplies from our friends at Home Depot, who immediately responded with a desire to be part of the project. They donated mulch and flowers, and 20 of our own CFISD teens volunteered their time through Second Baptist. Home Depot and Second Baptist team didn't stop there, making a commitment to do more for other schools. This past weekend, 2 additional schools had landscaping enhancements, Hopper Middle School and Cypress Springs High School. I also want to thank Scott Ledoux, CFISD Assistant Director of Maintenance, for his help with the work sites. Several of these spring break servants are here with us tonight to be recognized. Please come forward when I call your name. Second Baptist Church, Cypress, Stephen Bailiff, Executive and Teaching Pastor. Andrew Nix, Youth Pastor. Matt Miller, Campus Pastor. Cody Jenkins, High School Pastor. And from Home Depot Copperfield, our store manager is Stone Shee. And he has a couple of his team members with him as well. We appreciate all of you for going above and beyond to support the students and staff in CFISD. You are a model for others, and we look forward to more good news from our community. Thank you.
The board will recognize Cy-Fair ISD being named Best School District in the 2015 Best Picks edition of the Cypress Creek Mirror. And we'll have Nicholas Ray, David Lee, and Becky Spencer on that.
Good evening, President Ryan, Board of Trustees, Shadows, and Dr. Henry. This evening, we're honored to have representatives from Houston Community Newspaper, the Cypress Creek Mirror, in attendance to present a very special award. Allow me to introduce Becky Spencer and David Lee. They have a few words to share with us.
Hi, good evening. Mr. Ryan, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry, it is our pleasure to honor the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District with our Reader's Best Pick Award of the 2015 Best School District. The balloting for this award was conducted online and in our newspapers and includes Cypress Creek Mirror Champion Klein Edition, the Cypress Cy-Fair Edition, and the Potpourri Tomball and Magnolia editions. Cypress Creek Mirror is one of 24 community newspapers managed by Houston Community Newspapers throughout Greater Houston, and our distribution of the Cypress Creek Mirror mirrors the ISD boundaries. Our weekly newspaper is delivered to 34,000 households in the Cypress area on Wednesdays, and you may also see our newspaper on the stand that's at the front of the building here. David and I are on the advertising side of Cypress Creek Mirror, and we work closely with our editor, Roy Kent, and his staff to promote the good works of the Cy-Fair ISD. I often refer to our demographics to potential advertisers as delivered to households likely to have children in our schools, because that's an important definition of who we want as our advertisers in our community. You probably know that our coverage of events and happenings of the school district, and probably remember that our sports writer, Adam Coleman, was named to your 2014 Media Honor Roll. Our editor, Roy, refers to Adam as Mr. Cy-Fair Sports. As of right now, he has 9,550 social media followers with more than 52,000 tweets. Adam so loves the sports scene in the Cy-Fair schools that when he was named to the 2014 Media Honor Roll by Cy-Fair ISD, he couldn't break away to receive the award because it was signing day for the school athletes. So far in 2015, we've posted 88 stories about the Cy-Fair Independent School District and are on track to do about 260 for this year. So please keep those cards and letters coming. We thank our partnership with Houston Community Newspapers and Cy-Fair Independent School District, and it's our honor to present this framed certificate that we hope you will proudly display in your lobby, and I'll present that to Nicole for safekeeping. Thank you.
And
just want to thank them again for their partnership with us and just all the positive stories that they do, as well as so many of our young high school journalism students have been published in their newspaper, giving them a chance as well. So thank you so much. We appreciate all you do.
The superintendent will make remarks. The superintendent will make remarks and announcements, including the honors and achievements earned by staff and students in recent weeks.
Thank you, Mr. President. I apologize. I'm going to have to do these. My shadow was unable to make it this evening, so you'll have to listen to me again. CFISD and 41 campuses were honored as recipients of the Texas Controller's 2014 Texas Honors Circle Award, recognizing schools and districts that achieve strong academic success through cost-effective operations, spending relatively little compared to their peers. CFISD was one of only 46 Texas districts to earn the 5-star rating, its 5th in a row. And just as a reminder, there are over 1,200 school districts and charter schools in the state of Texas. The Education Resource Group, a data-driven company that provides accountability and performance management optimization for public schools, has again, for the 3rd consecutive year, ranked Cy-Fair-ISD in the top 2 among the 200 largest districts in Texas for academic and financial performance in its 2013-14 Best Practices Awards. In fact, 2 years ago we were number 1, last year we were number 1, and this year we dropped all the way down to number 2. We were edged out by hundredths of a point by Richardson ISD up in the Dallas area, but we're really proud of not only the academic gains, but the fiscally responsible way that Cy-Fair ISD continues to operate. Sheridan Principal Gina Guidry and Cy Falls Principal Becky Denton were selected as district representatives for the 2014-15 Region 4 Principal of the Year Award. Both will be honored in June at the Region 4 ESC Principal Recognition Ceremony. CFISD students from Cy-Fair, Cy Creek, Cy Lakes, Cy Ranch, Cy Ridge, Cy Springs, Cy Woods, and Langham Creek recently won awards at the Skills USA Texas District 8 Leadership Conference. First and second place winners recently participated in the state conference, and first and second place winners there will be recognized in at the May board meeting. Cy Creek won the District 17 6A Academics Spring Meet with Cy Woods placing second and Cy-Fair third. 6 CFISD high schools, Cy-Fair, Cy Creek, Cy Falls, Cy Lakes, Cy Ranch, and Jersey Village, advanced from the District 17 6A one-act play zone competitions to the one-act play district competition. Cy-Fair, Cy Lakes, and Cy Ranch placed in the top 3 to compete in the bi-district competition, where Cy Ranch was selected to advance to the UIL area contest, and I'm pretty sure that's this Saturday. Cy Woods girls basketball team clinched its first ever UIL Class 6A state championship on March 7th in San Antonio, ending the season with a 35-1 record. Congratulations to the team and coaches on a great season and the state title. In boys soccer, Cy Springs won district, with Cy Ranch placing second, Cy Lakes third, and Cy Ridge fourth. In girls soccer, Cy-Fair was the district winner, with Cy Creek coming in second, Cy Woods third, and Cy Ranch fourth. Cy Ranch, Cy Lakes, and Cy Ridge boys, and Cy Creek, Cy Ranch, and Cy Woods girls also won their Region 3 5A bi-district playoff games. The teams mentioned also won their Region 3 5A bi-district game to advance to area playoffs. From there, Cy Ridge boys advanced to quarterfinals where their season ended. The Cy-Fair boys golf team won the District 17 5A boys team golf championship, and Cy Ranch placed second. Cy-Fair girls won first in district, and Cy Woods placed second. All 4 teams advanced to regionals. Cy Ranch boys won first place in District 17-5A tennis in the 17-5A tennis tournament, with Cy Woods finishing second and Langham Creek third. Langham Creek girls also won first place in district, with Cy Creek second and Cy Woods third. Cy Ranch also won district titles in boys singles and doubles events. Langham Creek won district titles in girls doubles. As you can see, we've been doing nothing this spring. Congratulations to all of our awesome staff and students. And now we'll turn it over to Roy Garcia for an introduction.
Thank you, Dr. Henry. Kanika will facilitate our introduction.
President Ryan and Board of Trustees, we are excited to introduce to you and to Cypress-Fairbanks community our new principal at Owens Elementary School, Mrs. Amy Frank. Ms. Frank received her Bachelor of Science from the University of Houston and her Master of Education from Stephen F. Austin State University. Mrs. Frank has 22 years in the education profession. She served as a teacher at Post and Hamilton Elementary Schools and was an instructional specialist at Sheridan Elementary. Mrs. Frank has served as an assistant principal for the past 5 years. She served in this role at Wilson Elementary and Sheridan Elementary. When Ms. Frank is not working, she likes spending time with her family. She enjoys reading and walking the dogs. Ms. Frank and her husband, Don, have 2 sons, Taylor and Austin. Taylor graduated from Texas Tech last May, and Austin is presently a freshman at Texas Tech. As a note of interest, Mrs. Frank has been in the school district since 1977, when she was a second grader at Matsey. Please join me in congratulating Mrs. Amy Frank on her new leadership assignment.
President Ryan, members of the board, and Dr. Henry, thank you for this amazing opportunity. I feel so lucky and blessed to be part of a wonderful school. Owens has a long history of excellence, and I feel honored to be part of that continued excellence. I'd also like to thank the staff who've made my first 3 days on the job wonderful and have made me feel really great. My 2 APs are here, so thank you for being here. I'd also like to thank my family and friends who have made this journey an exciting one and helped me and listened to lots of stories, so thank you for that. And I would like to thank my rock star boss, can't call her boss anymore, but still going to call her Bossy, we decided. Gina Guidry was the best mentor that I could have ever asked for, so thank you for that. I'd like to introduce my family. This is Don Frank, my husband. I have to stand up, I guess. My mom, Kathy, her husband, John, my stepdad, my dad, Craig, his wife, Jo, my brother, Stephen, is over there. He's a teacher at Cy Fair, and lots of friends who are here to support me. So thank you for the opportunity, and I just can't wait to get started tomorrow. So thank you for everything.
Any board member may make a comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any student, staff, or board member, and may not be discussed or deliberated upon at this time, and after this, we'll take a 5-minute break. Is anybody feeling inclined to say anything?
Don should have warned you that I'm always inclined to say something.
I did.
Okay, so he was not shocked or surprised. For a change, I'll be brief. Tonight, I would like to tip my hat to those who have engaged in creative excellence, including both our teacher as well as student who were chosen to be Jason Argonauts and spend 10 days in the Bahamas learning about science. What a place to learn about science. I would also include my tip of the hat to all of those students, but also their parents as well as the teachers who were part of the Horizons Showcase. It was simply amazing to see the projects on display, and it's one of those events that you really wish the folks in Austin could come spend a little time taking a look at while they're debating the fate of public education. So I tip my hat to this group of people. Thank you.
We will now take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, you can go to the rest.
At this time, we are going to reconvene, and now, patrons who have duly registered per BED may address the board regarding matters of concern or interest in the district, other than the character of any student, staff, or board member. I would like to remind the audience and the viewers that the comments of the speaker reflect their own positions and opinions. The board may not discuss or act upon any matter that is not listed under the line of action portion of this agenda. Therefore, board members may not discuss the comments of speakers. Please understand that a lack of response from a board member does not indicate agreement or approval of the comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the board. Mrs. Christina Hartley, Secretary of the Board, will be the designated timekeeper. Now, April Lemon.
Good evening, President Ryan, members of the board, and Dr. Henry. My name is April Lemon, and I'm here on behalf of the Cy-Fair TSTA NEA to extend a big thank you to the many people who participated in the Read Across America program last month on Dr. Seuss's birthday. This program was a great success, but it wouldn't have been possible without all the many board members, ISC staff, business and community members, retired teachers, students, and parents who selflessly donated their time to read to the students in Cy-Fair. Many readers participated using props and costumes. Some readers read to several groups of children, and then some even read to several different schools. The TSTA retired teachers came with book donations to our schools. The Ready, Set, Teach students, with their Dr. Seuss hats, created murals and passed out pencils and stickers. It was a week of fun that celebrated reading. Let's hope our students will take the Reader's Oath by Deborah Angstead. I promise to read. I know it's the key to growing up right. I'll read to myself. I'll read to a crowd. It makes no difference if silent or loud. I'll read at my desk, at home and at school, on my beanbag or bed, by the fire or pool. Each book that I read puts smarts in my head, 'cause brains grow more thoughts the more they are fed. So I'll take this oath to make reading my way of feeding my brain what it needs every day. I would like to present these certificates to our board members and ISC staff who participated in the Read Across America program this year. Mary Stoner's going to help. Bob Covey. Christina Hartley. Don Ryan. Dr. Mark Henry. Tom Jackson. Darcy Mingoya. Roy Garcia. Teresa Hull. And I'm not sure if all of these folks are here. Ashley Claiborne. Lucinda Orr. Christy DeFonte. Karen Smith. And Rose Odell. I would like to also thank our Ready, Set, Teach students, TSTA retired teachers, parents, and all the others who helped with celebrating Dr. Seuss's birthday. Thank you.
We will now hear from Nikki Cowart.
Good evening, CFISD Board of Trustees and Dr. Henry. I come to you tonight to propose a new policy for your consideration. HISD recently adopted a workplace bullying policy to support fair treatment of employees in HISD. This workplace bullying policy is a huge step forward in setting the precedent for dealing with workplace bullying not only at HISD, but across the state and hopefully across the country. I would like to make a few points on why a workplace bullying policy is beneficial and why AFT is asking you to adopt such a policy. First, mental health of employees is affected by workplace bullying. No person should be made to feel unsafe and unwelcome in their workplace. A workplace bullying policy in place will ensure that our schools are safe and welcoming places, not just for the students, but for those who serve them. Secondly, employee turnover is a side effect of workplace bullying, disrupting consistency in staffing and costing the district more money in hiring and training over and over again. A workplace bullying policy in place will help curb the bullying in which in turn should curb employee loss due to job frustration. And did I mention that it costs nothing to put a workplace bullying policy in place? And third, employees cannot truly be effective at their jobs, truly champion the cause of student success, or combat student bullying when themselves are being bullied at work. In other districts, students sometimes witness their own teachers and other school employees being bullied by other adults, which in turn sends a message to students that bullying is acceptable. A workplace bullying policy will help to promote better modeling to students and appropriate treatment of others. Finally, a policy like this one raises the bar on professionalism. If a workplace bullying policy is good enough for Houston's largest school district, it should be good for all Houston school districts. A district that does not have a bullying issue in their schools should especially not have a problem adopting this type of policy. A district that does have this issue in their schools should also be invested in remedying this issue for their employees. We are coming into an age of competitive policies. Employees regard job safety and emotionally healthy work environments as a plus when contemplating employment options. Money doesn't buy everything. A workplace bullying policy lets employees know that they can expect to be valued and treated with respect, and that goes a long way for employees. Again, I urge you to pass a workplace bullying policy in Cypress-ISD. We have provided a copy of HISD's new workplace bullying policy for your review. In closing, I'm not sure if any of you in the room are paying attention to some of the nonsense happening at the Capitol right now. Please do not have a defeatist attitude. We have to rally our troops more now than ever before. Cypher AFT is making another trip to Austin day after tomorrow and would love to have any of our friends and family in public education accompany us. Thank you.
The board will now hear the following reports. The following items may be considered at both the committee of the whole meeting and the regular board meeting. 4A, the board will receive an oral report on the 84th legislative session presented by Teresa Hull and Stuart Snow.
Good evening. President Ryan, Board of Trustees, we just wanted to provide you with a brief update this evening on the legislative session. We are well into the session. There are approximately a little over 40 days left in the session. There were about 1,200 education bills that were filed this session, so it's been pretty busy trying to keep up with those. But tonight, we would just like to highlight those bills that we believe have gained some momentum, either on the House or Senate side, and those that actually focused on the established legislative priorities for the district. In the areas of assessment and accountability, SB 149 actually passed through the House Public Ed Committee on April 7th and is headed to the floor of the House, excuse me. SB 149 is a bill that would allow students, even current seniors, who failed no more than one end-of-course exam to have the formation of an individual graduation committee that would look at some criteria to determine whether or not that student would be eligible to move forward with graduation. The criteria that must be considered in making that determination: the student must have earned all of the credits that are required for graduation. That is a must, so nothing would change with that. But the committee would also have the opportunity to look at the completion of either some remediation work, a portfolio or project-based assessment, or project type content in the subject area in which they are still deficient on the end of course. This bill would go into effect, if passes through the House, it would go into effect immediately and hopefully allow our current seniors who may need this individual graduation committee determination in order to be eligible for graduation in May. So we'll keep you posted on that. Another bill, HB 2804, was rolled out by Chairman Aycock just last week in the House Public Ed Committee. This bill is really intended to revamp our current accountability system and to involve more indicators and more measures than just the state assessment in determining the accountability rating for a campus or for the district. As currently filed, the bill would include the ability for local school districts to select some approved assessments that are outside of the state assessment that would have been approved by the commissioner in the areas of writing, science, and social studies. And that would be included in one of the domains. Additionally, the college readiness standards would stay in effect and include, math in grades 3 through 8 and Algebra 1, English 1, and English 2 assessments. Domain 2 would include the locally developed or locally selected, assessments in science, writing, and social studies. And the third domain would be differentiated for high schools. It would include factors such as dropout rate, completion rates, number of students who earned endorsements, and then the middle school and elementary would include indicators such as attendance, promotion rates, disciplinary incidents, etc. So it would be including other factors. And then domain 4 would include a district-selected subset of 3 categories of locally determined community and student engagement indicators, much like the case. It's almost bringing in the case into the 4th domain. So that bill was just rolled out last week, as I mentioned, and it's still pending in the House Public Ed. So I think we'll probably see some revisions and a committee substitute of that bill come forward probably in the next week or so. HB 742 is another bill that passed through the House Public Ed Committee on April 14th. This bill would actually eliminate some assessments, state assessments that are not required at the federal level in order to meet AYP and No Child Left Behind requirements. It would eliminate state assessments in writing in grades 4 and 7 and also in English 1 and English 2. And it would eliminate the 8th grade social studies and the U.S. history end of course exam. And it would really just limit state assessments to those that are required by the federal accountability system. Committee substitute for Senate Bill 14 was just passed through the Senate on April 15th. This is a parent trigger bill that actually modifies the current law. This bill would allow parents to petition for a campus to either be reconstituted, repurposed, or an alternative management operator to come in, or the closure of a campus after 2 consecutive years of low performance. The current law is 5, and this would modify it to a 2-year trigger for parents to present that petition to the commissioner. Senate Bill 669 and a companion bill very similar to that is Senate Bill 895 would establish a Texas Opportunity School District. Currently, the Texas Education Code allows for several options when you have a low-performing school, and I just mentioned those, the reconstitution, the repurposing, or the alternative management or the closure of a school. This would actually put a 4th option, which would allow the creation of this statewide school district, and it would remove a campus that is academically unacceptable for 2 or more consecutive years to this state-run district. It would basically turn the campus over to another entity, and that entity could be a charter organization. It could be that they decide to repurpose it also or reconstitute it, but it would definitely pull out of the school district and go into this statewide school district. Another focus that has really been going through the Senate are the voucher bills. Senate Bill 4 is kind of a combination of two bills that were presented in the Senate, one by the Chairman Taylor, and a second one that was presented by Senator Betancourt. It's a combination of those two bills, and this really combines a taxpayer savings grant and a scholarship for eligible students to be used to pay the cost for attending private schools. The bill would allow for a maximum of 25 educational assistance organizations to award scholarships to students from families making the eligibility part is 250% of federal poverty level. That equates to approximately $60,000 for a family of 4. That would be the criteria for a student to be eligible. It also adds that students with disabilities as being eligible for the grants, and they would apply for the scholarships to this educational assistance organization, and the voucher would be worth 75% of the statewide average per pupil expenditure, or they could ask for a $500 voucher for educational services within the system, which could equate to providing transportation for an inter-district transfer. And again, this is focused on allowing students the opportunity in their minds to leave failing public schools. And it kind of goes back to that initial HB 2804 when you look at the accountability system. It's really, you have to think long and hard about what factors are being measured or used to determine that a campus is low performing. And so that accountability bill is really going to be important as we look at some of these school choice bills and the opportunity school district bills that we just talked about. Another bill that's getting a lot of tension and movement and should be heard very quickly on the House of on the floor of the House very soon. It was the pre-K bill. It currently districts receive half-day funding for eligible students and pre-K, and this would allow districts to opt in to receive additional funding if they meet what they call high-quality pre-K standards, program standards. The amount per student would be determined by the commissioner. We don't know exactly how much additional funding would be available for this, but they could only be used towards improving the quality of the current pre-K program. The program standards that a district would be required to meet would include implementing a curriculum that is established and approved by TEA. It would also require districts to have measures for student progress, that they're actually meeting the recommended learning outcomes. That part's a little concerning because you want to make certain that we're not trying to create a state assessment for pre-K students, but certainly want to have some accountability for meeting learning outcomes. And then additionally, each teacher would have to be certified and be awarded what they call a CDA, a Child Development Associate, in order to be a teacher in this program. And then the last component of the HB4 would be a parental engagement component. You would have to provide a plan and lay out some system of engaging your parents and keeping them involved in their child's education. Oh, yes.
Real quick, excuse me. On the pre-K component, the legislation proposed it as grant funding?
Correct. I think it's currently listed as grant funding and not through the basic allotment, not through the funding formula.
Right, okay.
Correct.
I think that's important for everybody to know because grants come to an end at
And they
any
come with a lot
particular
of rules sometimes.
Right, at any particular time. I think it's something that we've been, our position has been to include it into the funding formula such that it's something that never goes away. But, okay, I just wanted to
No,
make sure I
excellent
had
point.
some
Thank you for
clarity.
pointing that out. Before I'm going to go ahead, do y'all want me to just go ahead and turn it over to Stuart to do the finance part, and then we come back to questions?
Thank you, Teresa. I will be talking about the legislation that has been filed that impacts school finance and also aligns with the stated priorities of the board. There are some very significant differences between the House and the Senate in terms of the focus as well as the philosophy of each of those chambers of the legislature in terms of where they want to spend their money. Looking at the Senate side, Senate Bill 2 is the Senate's version of the budget, and they have allocated $42.4 billion to the Foundation School Program. And the Foundation School Program, if you recall, is the vehicle in which, it's the state fund vehicle in which they distribute state money to public school districts and to charters. They have, as I mentioned, allocated $42.4 billion originally in that bill, and allocated within that $42.4 billion, their focus and philosophy has been for tax relief. And so they allocated $3 billion for property tax relief and $1.5 billion for franchise tax relief. Well, once that bill was filed, the business community made itself very vocal to the Senate because, quite frankly, the property tax relief really does not help the businesses because it's primarily to the homeowners on their residential properties. Since that time, the Senate has amended Senate Bill 2 and reallocated the amount of money that they had originally appropriated for the Foundation School Program, and reduced the property tax relief from $3 billion to $2.1 billion, increased the franchise tax relief allocation from $1.5 billion to $2.5 billion. And then they did one other thing. They added $1.18 billion to the Foundation School Program for improvements to the basic allotment and the Austin yield, which is improvements to the funding formulas in the Foundation School Program. The amended Senate Bill 2 was passed out of the Senate last Tuesday, and so it goes on over to the House now for consideration there. On the House side, again, their focus is a little bit different, not on tax relief initially, but their focus has been on improving the funding formulas in the Foundation School Program, and so they've allocated $41.4 billion to do that, of which $2.21 billion is, and that's above current law enrollment growth, to make improvements to the funding formulas in the Foundation School Program. They also amended the House Bill 1 with committee substitute to House Bill 1 and added $800 million additionally for the Foundation School Program to supplement the $2.21 billion to make that $3 billion in total. However, the amended $800 million was placed in Article 11, which, as you may know, is a placeholder that allows the legislature to, depending upon a certain legislation that's passed at a later date, would be able to pull up amounts from Article 11 to be able to accomplish the effect of those bills. And so that amendment of $800 million is contingent then on the passage of a House school finance bill, which is House Bill 1759. The committee substitute to House Bill 1, I don't know if I mentioned, did pass out of the House and is over on the Senate side and has been placed on the intent calendar in the Senate. Specific bills related to the Senate to accomplish their tax relief. Senate Bill 1 was filed. That is the vehicle for property tax relief. And Senate Bill 1 does a number of things, but primarily provides an increase in the state-mandated homestead exemption. As you know, the current amount that homeowners are able to claim on their homestead is $15,000, and so Senate Bill 1 would increase that. It's not based on some certain amount, but based on a percentage, which is 25% of the median home value in each year. It also provides hold harmless, as you know, with an increase in the homestead exemption. school districts would not be able to receive tax revenue because of that. So it would reduce tax revenue. And so to account for that, the Senate has provided some hold harmless provisions for maintenance and operations, as well as for the interest and sinking fund for the payment of principal and interest on the debt on our bonds. One other interesting feature of Senate Bill 1 is, as you know, we offer an optional homestead exemption of 20% to all of our homesteads, in addition to above and beyond the $15,000 mandated homestead exemption. Well, Senate Bill 1 provides a 10-year prohibition on the Board of Trustees from either reducing or eliminating that optional homestead exemption. When you increase the statewide mandated homestead exemption, it requires a statewide referendum, and so SJR, the Senate Joint Resolution for Senate Bill 1, states that that statewide election will be held on September the 12th of 2015. The impact, actually, the impact to Cy-Fair ISD in terms of state revenue of Senate Bill 2 is about a $20 million increase to state revenue as compared with current law. The other portions of tax relief related to franchise tax relief are contained in Senate Bill 7 and Senate Bill 8. Senate Bill 7 reduces the current franchise tax rate by 15%, and Senate Bill 8 exempts certain businesses that have total revenues of $4 million or less, so it would exempt them from having to pay franchise taxes. Those have been passed out of the Senate and will be going over to the House for consideration.
Stewart?
Yes, sir.
I just want to make this statement because they're saying that they're telling us now that the homestead exemption is going to be prohibited from reducing or repealing for the next 10 years. And isn't this the same group that was getting us and telling us that we were not taxing to the highest level of our authority because we had that homestead exemption?
That's correct, and we do have a penalty. There is a penalty in the funding formulas because of our homestead exemption that we're not recognized. The state does not recognize 1/2 of that homestead exemption in terms of what they allocate to us in state revenue. And so that, unless it's changed by legislation, which has been filed, I doubt that it'll go anywhere really. But unless that legislation has been changed, then that penalty will continue.
Thank you.
Mr. Hoffman, did you have a question? Oh, okay. Okay, on the House side, the vehicle for school finance, and this is the school finance bill from the House. It's House Bill 1759. It does a number of things. I'm not going to go into all of that. The main thing that House Bill 1759 does is it eliminates the cost of education index, which controls about $2.5 billion in the state funding formulas. That allows, by eliminating that, it allows the House to do a number of other things within the bill, in addition to the new money, the $3 billion that they're putting into school finance. But it increases the basic allotment, it increases the Austin yield, which is on our Tier 2 of facilities. Although there are no funding formula weight changes within our special populations, because of the way the formulas work, because they are dependent upon the level of our basic allotment. As that basic allotment increases, then those allotments for the special populations also increase. However, as some of those special population revenues increase, it also places additional spending requirements on those, on the money that we spend as a result of those special population allotments. The transportation formula is being eliminated from a linear density and then putting back into Tier 1 on a per ADA basis. The high school allotment is eliminated. Any district that is losing money because of House Bill 1759, they're being held harmless for a period of 2 years. And then again, that $800 million that is in Article 11 is contingent on the passage of House Bill 1759. The impact to Cy-Fair ISD on 1759 is an additional $15 million in state revenue as compared with current law. House Bill 2204 relating to our existing debt allotment. As you know, the existing debt allotment is a state fund that provides for state money to help offset and pay for the principal and interest on the debt that we incur as we sell bonds. Currently, the yield is $35 per penny per student. Currently, Cy-Fair does not receive any existing debt allotment, but what House Bill 2204 does is it provides for $35 for each cent of tax effort per student up to the first 20 cents of the INS rate. And as you know, our INS rate is 40 cents. And so the number of pennies above and beyond that first 20 cents, the yield would be increased to $60 for each penny that is greater than the 20 cents. This is a tremendous bill that would provide between $20 and $24 million to Cy-Fair ISD and would allow us to reduce our tax rate by 5 to 6 cents. However, there's a significant fiscal note statewide on this bill, nearly $1 billion, so it's not likely that the state will feel that it has enough money to be able to provide and pass this. Last Wednesday, it had a hearing, was rolled out in the House Subcommittee on Investments and Local Debt, where it was left pending at the time. And then the last bills that I'll be talking about, I won't be talking specifically about certain numbers of bills, but there are a number of bills that we're calling transparency bills. Just a boatload of bills coming from both the House and the Senate that all of these bills have very similar requirements in that they're talking about providing requirements for our bond election orders, the bond ballot language, and including a lot of information, particularly on the ballot, related to debt, total debt, the debt per capita, the amount of outstanding debt, our tax rate, the actual tax rate, the expected tax rate if those bonds were to pass, the district's bond rating, the entire maturity schedule, and an estimated interest rate on the bonds that are proposed in this bond order. So a lot of information that is being required by these bills if they were to pass to be included both on the bond order and on the ballot language itself. There's a lot of information that's being requested by other bills for financial disclosure and requiring school districts to provide a lot of other financial information to be posted on their website, which we do already. And as a matter of fact, most school districts in the state of Texas also post all of their financial information on the website, and I would venture to say that school districts are the most transparent organizations in the entire state of Texas, but yet the legislature feels that we need to be even more transparent by providing even more information. There's also a bill or a couple of bills that have been filed that would require disclosure of financial statements by Board of Trustees. That would be effective, I believe, January 1st of 2017. So at this time, a lot of uncertainty in terms of where the House and the Senate will come together to be able to develop a statewide budget, and a lot of uncertainty as it relates to school finance and where we're going to be. And it's been very difficult for us to be able to determine what our budget is going to be for next year. In fact, we've had several meetings about that, but we're waiting on the legislature to make some decisions about school finance. So a lot of uncertainty.
Does any board member at this time have a question relating to this subject?
And Don did warn you that once I start asking questions, he often has to ask a break for the audience. He didn't tell you that. Well, he should have. I do have some questions. First, if we flip over, I guess, to page 3 on our handout, and we talk about what's being done to the FSP, I seem to recall that a little over $5 billion was cut from school funding, and a little bit more than $3 billion was restored. Do these bills restore first uninflated dollars back to full funding, and then 2, do they restore funding on an inflated dollar basis back to 2001? Because currently, on an inflated dollar basis, we're spending considerably less on a per student basis.
On an uninflated basis, my feeling is that this does not restore the cuts that were made in that period of time.
And Stuart, let me stop you right there, because I'm going to repeat the question and permit you to repeat your answer. Testimony in Austin is that this does in fact restore it, and certain elected officials in Austin have proclaimed that this restores the funding. And in the light of those statements, does that change your comment, or are you still very confident in that this does not restore funding?
It does not change my answer. I think that it still does not restore the funding completely.
Thank you. And the question on an inflated basis is a little unfair, and that may take some time unless you happen to have that at your fingertips.
I don't have it at my fingertips, but my gut is that it does not as well. So.
And that would make sense to me. If we don't restore it uninflated, how can we restore
Correct.
With the impact of inflation? A question as it relates to something near and dear to everybody up here about the filing of financial statements. As elected trustees, I know we will all comply with the law, but just to be certain, does this law also apply to all those associated with charter schools, including owners?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm not completely certain about that.
And if the voucher bill passes, and if somebody takes those voucher dollars to a private school, will it require those trustees of that private school to post publicly all of their financial information on the same form?
No.
Oh. You mean public schools are being treated differently and unfairly compared to others?
I know you're surprised by that, but...
I am shocked, literally shocked. Mr. President, I do have other questions, but if you want to let somebody else ask, or do you want me to keep going? Okay, keep rolling. On page 2, when we talk about Senate Bill 669 and Senate Bill 895 and the Texas Opportunity School District, if a campus goes to another entity, what are the dollars on a per-child basis that's transferred? Is it the same dollars as what's being given to that particular school district, or are the dollars calculated differently?
Well, as we look at the bill, there's a conflict, in my opinion, as we look at the language of the bill, and we look at the language in the fiscal note, there's some conflicting language there. So we're not completely certain what that funding level is, because what the funding level says in the language of the bill itself is that the that school would receive the amount of funding, the same amount of funding that a school district, public school district would receive if they did not have a local fund assignment. In the fiscal note, it appears that, or it provides the language that leads you to believe that there would not be any harm, I guess, to the school district, to the sending school district, that it would be taken out in Tier 1, and then your local fund assignment would be reduced, which would essentially put money back in into that formula. So we're really not quite sure at this point in time, and we're going to be, we haven't had a time to really study that issue.
Well, if you would, please keep us appraised. My reading of it, and this is not in the details of the bill, but the overview that's provided is that the funds would be the state average, and for any school district that receives less than the state average, you're actually giving more money to the new operator than you gave to that particular school district.
Well, if the receiving school district does receive the state average on a per pupil basis, then the sending, in our case, the sending school district, if those students were Cy-Fair students going to an opportunity school, then certainly we're funded at a much lower rate on a per student basis than the state average, and so that, in that case, that would be true.
And so for any of the districts that are funded less, the state, in their infinite wisdom, are saying that more dollars need to be allocated, but they won't give those more dollars to that particular school district.
Correct.
So somehow that makes sense, but not to me. Is the property transferred?
No.
You have a school building.
No, the property stays with the sending school district.
But I think the bill does have language that would allow the Opportunity School District access to those facilities.
So they would have access to the facilities. Who would be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep on those facilities?
I would assume that the sending school district would remain responsible for those facilities.
So without any of the per-student funding that you may allocate toward the regular day-to-day upkeep, you would lose those dollars as well.
Correct.
I presume that full accountability would follow. So if it goes to a new operator, that new operator has 2 years to restore this to whatever the deemed level is. And in addition, they would have to post all their financial information publicly and have publicly elected elections for the trustees, and those trustees would file public forms as well.
Yeah, I assume that you're being facetious, aren't you?
I'm just thinking that Austin, when they're passing the law, are thinking of fairness, but I guess by your answer, you're telling me that is not the case. Okay. If we take a look at the middle of the page when we talk about vouchers, courtesy of Miss Karen Miller, and relying upon information she has sent me, much of the voucher legislation in Austin is based upon a report developed by Laffer, who we all know his view of economics. However, his case for making the voucher bill economic for the state applies to his estimate that the number of dropouts will be reduced if you have vouchers. So my question to you, is the state contacting all these students who are dropping out of high school and saying, we will give you this voucher to go attend a private school as an inducement to get them to go back to school? Is that how the dropout rate's being reduced?
Not that I'm aware of. Teresa, do you want to answer that
No,
one?
I think he's being facetious again. No, they are not.
I'm just asking, if he's going to reduce by hundreds of thousands of dropouts, unless they intend to give vouchers to those students who would graduate anyway, then it's going to have no impact on the dropout rate.
Correct.
That's right.
A little more serious question on page 1. And And I'm asking these questions because I truly believe that we are at a strategic inflection point. What Austin will do here will have a profound impact. We are importing policies from Florida and Louisiana, and they haven't worked in Florida and Louisiana, and I happen to know and believe that our educational system has better outcomes here in those two states. So I'm not certain why we want to pick an approach that delivers a less desirable outcome. But on page 1, when on the third section, when we're talking about House Bill 742 and CSSB 14 on the parent trigger, and you're transferring after 2 years, does the 2-year rule still stay in effect for that transferred school? So if they still are not performing at the end of 2 years, then they're transferred back or they're transferred to somebody else?
The period of time, I can look at the exact period of time in SB 14 that they are transferred. I don't know the exact timeline, but I know clearly it's 2 years for the parents to petition for the change, but I have to be honest, Mr. Jackson, I would have to research that to determine the exact amount of time before there's consideration of the campus to return.
And there's no prohibition about money being donated from outside that particular area to assist in that campaign, right?
Well, they're trying, actually, in this committee substitute, they're trying to address some of the concerns that were brought forward, I think, during the first reading of the bill about some of the outside entities that come in and lead those campaigns to get parents to sign the petitions. And so actually in the committee substitute, there's some language that they are attempting to address those specific concerns. Now, whether or not that's really going to hold true, but there have been there's been information shared that in other states where they have implemented a parent trigger, that there's actually kind of paid people that go out and solicit parents to sign these petitions in order to get the campus turned over to an alternative management or charter, creating lots of confusion and divisiveness within the community, parents not really understanding what they were signing and what they were agreeing to. And so there's been some attempts to kind of modify that, to put some restrictions in on how that petition could be created and signatures solicited. Did I respond to your question?
You did, thank you. With respect to Representative Aycock's almost omnibus finance bill, Stuart, and you may not have the detailed numbers in front of you, but can you tell us what our current funding is per child versus the state average? And then does that gap, does the gap widen under the Aycock legislation, or does it shrink under the Aycock legislation?
I can give you rounded numbers, the state average on a per student basis, and this is for the current year, the 2014-15 fiscal year for the state, and on a per student basis, and this would be per weighted student, the state provides funding on an average of about $6,500 per student. For Cy Fair, on a weighted average daily basis, under current law as we budget, the current law, in other words, for 15-16, the amount of state and local money that we would receive if current law stays intact for that 15-16 year, our student funding is about $5,660 per student. So there's a gap, even in the difference between 2014-15 and what we're projecting for current law 15-16, a gap of about $800 per student. So, yes, we're significantly below on a per student basis, per WADA basis than the state average. Under ACOX Bill 1759, the state average is going to receive about $223 per weighted student in additional state money, and I think what we're projecting is that we would receive about $110 per weighted student under the ACOG bill. So bringing that difference, basically the state average is doubling the amount of money on a per student basis that we would receive under ACOG's bill. So that gap then widens under ACOG's bill to about $900 per student.
Well, thank you for delivering more bad news. Do the two of y'all have any good news for tonight?
You haven't been in Austin lately. There's no good news in Austin.
Well, the good news is we have the House of Representatives that hopefully will help us out.
Thank you, Stuart and Teresa, for a full and complete report. That concludes my questions, Mr. President.
Yeah. Does anybody else at this time have any questions to ask? Over there. All right. Yeah. So then, report 4B was done last Thursday, so we will skip now to 4C. And the administration will provide an oral report on the design development report of the process of the design of the Pridgeon Stadium renovations and the new natatorium. That will be Roy Sprague and Dylan Brady.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan, members of the board, Dr. Henry, and board shadows, and I do have some good news to report, I hope. We're very excited tonight to present to you the final design development for the Pridgeon Stadium renovation and the new natatorium, which will be located at our existing site right next door to Pridgeon. Our facilities team and PBK Architects have been working for several months trying to finalize the design, which we're presenting to you tonight. This project is being funded from our 2014 bond authorization. Later in the agenda tonight, the board will be considering approval of our construction contract award for the site package for this project, which includes the replacement of the existing asphalt paving with concrete and will also include some drainage improvements for the site. Once the contract is approved by the board, we'll begin construction as soon as possible, and we want to have this work completed prior to the start of the football season in 2015-16. And then we'll be continuing to work on the finalization of the construction documents, and we'll come back to the board with another contract recommendation for phase 2 of the work so that we can get started. Once football season is completed in November, we'll start the second phase of the work and start construction on the renovations to Pridgeon Stadium as well as the new natatorium. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Eric Smith, partner with PBK Architects, and he'll take over the rest of the presentation.
Good evening, President Ryan, members of the board, and Dr. Henry, board shadows. We are so pleased to be here tonight to make this presentation to you. It truly is a blessing as a Cy-Fair graduate myself to be able to work on a project like this and come back before the board to present on something like this. I'm going to start out by saying that, as Roy mentioned, it has been a bit of a journey. We started this process back in October of last year, and we wouldn't be where we are tonight without a lot of help. And the help we had was from a lot of folks within the district. And so I have to start out by saying thank you to all the folks in athletics, transportation, the Berry Center staff, all the folks in facilities. I know I'm going to leave people out, but we had quite a committee that helped us get to where we are tonight. So with that, I just wanted to acknowledge those folks. I'm going to start out with a overview aerial of the site. And I'm not going to point out anything to you that you don't already know looking at this, other than anybody who's been to a ball game at Pridgeon it's pretty difficult to get out of the parking lot. And one of the reasons is that there's very few access points to the surrounding roads. So if you'll notice, you can kind of see those. There's one on the top, on the north end that accesses Cougar, and then also one on each side that accesses Bobcat and Falcon. And you'll be noticing in the future slides that we are cleaning that up and cleaning that access up quite a bit. Also, the south end of the site is the location where we're proposing to locate the natatorium. And again, in addition to the press box renovations, one of the other things that we talked about with the committee was to revise the ticketing. Currently, the ticketing occurs on all four corners. We'll be centralizing that in the concepts we're going to show you. And then also, this is just a slide of the Berry Center. One of the other scope items to deal with was to deal with the north end of the Pridgeon Stadium and the access for the bands. The Berry Center has the luxury of being on grade, and so it was quite easy to do that at the Berry Center. At Pridgeon, we're down below grade, below the parking level. And so it's a little more difficult, but we have a solution that will correct that situation. So here's an overview of the proposed new site plan. And you can see, as I mentioned, that the circulation on site has really been cleaned up quite a bit. The access to the site off of Cougar occurs in 3 locations, and on Bobcat also 3 locations, and same on Falcon. So there's smaller blocks of parking groups to be able to access those feeders. Also, if you notice on the south end of the site, the natatorium is located there with a detention pond in the lower left corner. As I mentioned, the band plaza on the north end of the stadium will have 2 locations, one for the visitors on the right-hand side, one for the home side on the left-hand side of the north end. And that's for the 2 bands to descend down to the band plaza level. It was very important in meeting with Fine Arts that access be safe, that the slope be mitigated so that they can get instruments down to the field easily, and that it also be wide enough. And so we're providing for about a 12-foot wide access there, and the slope will be very gradual. Also, you can see in this plan the centralized ticketing on each side, of the home side on the left and the visitor side on the right. And then the existing field house will be between the stadium and the natatorium. And there's a good synergy that field house can also support both facilities. In this view, the new natatorium is located on the south end of the site with its own parking. In addition, the existing parking or the new parking for the stadium will also support the natatorium for overflow parking. So here's an existing shot of Pridgeon Stadium. We all know what that looks like. And this is the home side, and it shows the existing concessions, restrooms, and then also the press box. And then also the visitor side. And just a shot from the field. So here's a plan of the home entry ticketing. As I mentioned, it would be a centralized ticketing with 6 windows and then 2 wraparound canopies on either side. There would be 6 gates. So after folks go in and buy their tickets, they could go through the search procedure at 6 gates. They can be shut and open, as traffic's needed. And then the elevator lobby to the new press box is located directly behind the ticketing, right there in the center. So there would be 2 separate gates to access the press box. And then some supplemental storage on the back side of that and mechanical. And then on the visitor side, it would simply be a ticketing booth that would also have 6 windows and the same setup with the gates and the canopies. The difference is there would be no press box elevator on the visitor side. So also on the concourse side, the home concourse, we're addressing the restrooms. And one of the big issues was the restroom count. And so on the plan is that we would try and keep the existing infrastructure that was there, completely renovate it, and then supplement it as it's needed. So as you can see in the blue represents the existing facilities. So for instance, the concessions in the middle would be completely renovated. It would be refaced and made to look new. The men's restroom that's on the left, to keep the cross traffic down in the concessions, from the concessions and on the concourse, the decision was made to supplement a women's restroom on the side where we have an existing men's. And then on the side where we have an existing women's, we would supplement with a men's and a family restroom. So that way you eliminate some of the cross flow back and forth and really clean up the circulation underneath the concourse area. Also, on the home side, there would be an elevator stop, which is kind of shown down at the bottom in the pink. On the visitor side is very similar setup. In the blue represents the existing restrooms. All of those would be completely renovated and gutted and refitted. And then we would supplement on the right side with a new women's restroom, and on the left side, a new men's restroom with family incorporated as well. And then on the press box, we used the Berry Center as a guide to start with. We did make some adjustments. The square footage is pretty much the same. The layout is slightly different. In the very center at the top would be the elevator. So you would come out of the elevator, there would be a corridor that serves the entire front part of the press box itself, with the press room, the visitors' coaches, the home coaches on the right-hand side, and then the radio TV. And then there would be 2 stair towers in the top corners, and then a small kitchenette and restroom facilities. On level 2, again, the press box elevator is in the center at the top. You would come out, the video deck is right in front. That deck is open air. To the left is the VIP suite. Look, the difference here is that we've incorporated some of what would be corridor into the VIP room so that it opens it up a little bit. Also, a kitchen would serve that. There's some storage and restroom facilities as well. And then the PA, the clock, and the video would be on the bottom right-hand side. So all the same kinds of functions that are at the Berry Center. The square footage is about the same, so you have parity in the 2 facilities. The layout's slightly different. And this is a shot of what the press box would look like on the home side, modeled with the existing stands. And this drawing represents a section of how everything's going to work together. You can see, starting with the left, how the ticketing would work. Moving to the right, the elevator shaft. The press box structure and facility would be separate. It would not be connected with the existing stadium, but it would be adjacent to stadium. And then that allows us to keep the concessions, and the existing infrastructure there so that we can capitalize on that being there, refit it, and be very economical about how we do it. And then this is a rendering of what the new press box, elevator, tower, the ticketing, and again, you can see centrally located the ticketing and how that canopy would wrap around and serve that, as well as the two stair towers on each end. And then on the visitor side, very similar setup with the ticketing in the center, the 3 gates on each end, and then a wall behind, and you can see that we're going to reface the existing restrooms and the new addition, the restroom additions, so that we give it a completely different look. The natatorium. So the new natatorium would be a 50-meter stretch pool. It would support both the swimming function and the diving functions. It can be configured in many different ways with 2 movable bulkheads. On the left-hand side of the plan is the entry and the lobby. So you would come in at an elevated level and walk down towards the bottom through the corridor. There's restrooms, concessions, and then all the seating for about 944 people is up at about 4 foot high above the swimming deck. On the very top left-hand corner of the plan, there's a classroom and a meet room. And then right adjacent that is the locker areas. And then the rest of the top of the plan is mostly mechanical with a judges and coaches at the very center and the top. Also, we've planned the deck size to accommodate some tip-up bleachers so that that can support the students' seating on the deck level. And this is a shot in the entry lobby looking back towards the service window. One of the things to note is from the lobby to the pool itself, it was important that the group, that there be a visual connection between the lobby and the pool itself. So there's folks could stand in the lobby and actually view events that are going on inside the pool itself. And then another shot back towards the entry into the seating area. Again, this is a shot on the deck level, just a rendering of what the pool itself would look like and the space would look like and feel like. From the diving area, looking back towards the lobby with the seating, the spectator seating on the left-hand side. And then a shot straight from the diving area back towards the lobby and the glass wall. This just is a section that shows how it's all going to work together with the diving component, the 2 movable bulkheads, and then an elevation looking back towards the seating with the lobby on the right-hand side. And then a section the other direction, looking back towards the lobby, showing the mechanical spaces and how they're going to function on the right-hand side with the lockers below. And then a view of the exterior of the natatorium, and this is the front door. On the left-hand side would be the classroom, which is where those windows are. And so it would tie together with with the stadium itself, creating an overall campus feel. Now, just some images. These are 3Ds of, we took the opportunity to model how the whole stadium, natatorium, field house complex is going to work together. This is looking back at the facility from the wind fern side, southwest corner of the site, showing the natatorium in the front and then the stadium towards the back and how the parking would work. Just another shot back towards the north. And again, from the north, looking back at the press box facing the field, showing how the visitor side would function. And that's all I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody at this time have any questions about the?
Oh, I just wanted to, it's kind of more comments, but I wanted to say thank you, just like that says.
Sure.
This is very exciting to me as somebody who danced on that field in the 80s and now has children, and I'm down there with the band and the drill teams, and I really appreciate the safety factor and how well thought out this plan is, even to the restrooms. The band and the kids, they all go change clothes, they go do
Correct.
things, and it gets crowded and it gets crazy, and I just think this is a very well thought out plan, and of course it looks wonderful.
As I mentioned, we had a lot of input, and fine arts played a big part of giving that information to us so that we could address it.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're good.
Hi, Eric. You mentioned that the press box is going to be separate from the bleachers.
Yes.
Now, are we doing renovation to the bleachers? Are we doing upgrading? What are we doing exactly to the bleachers?
We are not currently planning to change the seating at this time.
Was there any structural problems with the bleachers that we were concerned about?
There are not that we've found currently. We don't expect to. The main reason for keeping the two structures separate is really just to make sure that we structure the press box in a way that we can keep the existing infrastructure below it in place. In order to, if we were to try to tie on to the existing structure, we would end up impacting how we would, whether we would be able to keep that existing infrastructure, those restrooms and the concessions below.
And I'm sure you had to address the ADA requirements since we're working on it, right?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay. Thank you.
Eric, thank you for that report. I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
And Roy may know. Roy, what's our seating at Ranch in that current natatorium?
I believe we're in the 700 to 800 range. Do you remember correctly, Teresa? I believe that's what we're.
About 750.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you mentioned a little bit about the stakeholders that helped you in the process, and did we consult our current coaches on these items, whether it be football or swimming?
Actually, Mr. Workin was a part of the committee, and it was, his responsibility to gather that input from the different coaches about some of the design elements of the natatorium and the stadium.
Okay, and I like the, every once in a while, people in the administration would get calls on Friday night because I was sitting in the parking lot. So I like the exit flow. But really, do you know if there's any plans there's still growth out there, to expand Windfern at all?
Currently, with our conversations with the county, there is no plans at this time to widen Windfern.
Let's make sure we keep our traffic people out there Friday and Saturday night?
We'll have a full force out there.
I'd appreciate that.
Just one question, Eric.
Sure.
And I think I know the answer to this, but just to ask, the community room that will be at the stadium, it's fairly similar to the community room we have at the Berry Center right now?
It is.
Okay.
It is. We're just taking advantage of some of the circulation that we have there so that it helps it function a little bit better. Again, some of the comments from athletics that helped make this a little bit, the process a little better.
And then, because it wasn't mentioned in the report, and it wasn't done that long ago, is there anything being done to the field house?
The field house itself?
Right.
There's some small things that we're planning on doing there, but overall, we're not going to be going into the field house.
Okay. I know that was done, I don't know how long ago, but it wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't too many years ago. We did that out of our 04 authorization when we added the field house.
Well, this was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Eric, just because I know that we have some people in our district that like to go out and count parking spaces, was just curious as to how many parking spaces will be at the new Pridgeon as opposed to what we've got at the Berry Center.
Currently, the layout that we have, I don't have the number of the Berry Center off the top of my head, but the layout that we had, we tried to take into account access issues as well as just being able to keep as many of the parking spaces the same as we could. We believe it's pretty close to what you would have had, although it would have been very difficult to count the parking at Pridgeon because there was no striping, so it was it was hard to know what was there before.
There you go.
I would think that it may be slightly more, Mr. Covey, just due to the fact that it's a combined facility, and many times we have activities going on at the stadium game and also concerts or other events going on in the conference center. So if I had to guess, it's probably slightly more to accommodate that dual.
It's going to be more at the
Berry Center. Yeah. Correct.
Because there's two facilities there.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Is there any other questions? Any other questions at this time? No. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Also, during the course of the committee of the whole meeting, it was the consensus of the board that the following action items be approved as submitted or amended. In action item A, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and/or authorizing purchases orders as recommended in the posted agenda item, and the presenters are Matt Morgan, Stuart Snow, and Frankie Johnson. Never mind, we do not have a presentation, so get on to item B. Item B. The board will consider approving construction proposals and contracts paid from bond funds and general funds to the recommended contractor and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents relating to the contracts such as follows. And Dylan Brady?
No presentation.
No presentation.
We don't have any more presentations.
There's no more presentations, so we will jump to which item? C. The board will consider authorizing the superintendent or designee to enter into the miscellaneous professional service contracts relating to the following project, and as the Pridgeon Stadium pavement replacement and site improvement. Dylan Brand? No. The board will consider approving the instructional materials allotment and the TEKC certification for 2015 and 2016. And no presentation. And agenda item 5E was removed from the agenda. And item F, the board will consider approving the district textbook recommendations for 2015 and 2016. Content areas are included as listed, and There's a list of various high school textbooks. And item G, the board will consider approving on second reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies then listed below. Item H, the board will consider approving the ratification of the issuance of an emergency purchase in order to be paid to the general fund for the gym floor replacement and cleanup/restoration operations required resulting from a small fire and sprinkler system discharge which caused water damage at Splain Middle School. Then, you want me to go through every line? Yeah. Then item I, the board will consider approving the tax refund of $500 or greater for Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. Item J, the board will consider approving the minutes of the March 5th, 2015 regular meeting. On Thursday, the following non-consensus items were placed on the consensus agenda. Item A, the board will consider approving on first reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. Item B, the board will consider approving, thank you, the shared service arrangement between Cypress-Fairbanks ISD and Northwest Harris County Cooperative for the deaf and hard of hearing. Item C, the board will consider approving an engagement letter between Cypress-Fairbanks ISD and West and Associates LLP in connection with the Engaging for Disclosure Council services and in accordance with the terms of the agreement. Item D, the board will consider approving a financial advisory agreement between Cypress-Fairbanks ISD and Frost Bank in connection with the issuance of obligations of indebtees and in accordance with the terms of the agreement. Item E, the board will consider the approval of the interlocal contract regarding installation, operation, and maintenance of research instruments between the University of Houston and Cypress-Fairbanks ISD at designated campuses, authorize the superintendent or designee to negotiate and execute the final terms and conditions and execute all documents. Item F, the board will consider the approval and execution of the plat for Sadie Woodard Elementary School, number 54, located in Alder Trail at Barker Cypress in Cypress Northeast Houston. Item F, the board will consider the approval of granting a temporary construction easement to Harris County to facilitate the roadside ditch improvements along Barker Cypress at the Richard E. Berry Center and authorize the superintendent or designee to negotiate the final terms and conditions and execute all documents. Do I need to read the lines or? Okay, great. Item H, the board will consider the approval of granting a temporary access/construction easement and maintenance easement with Chester Homes LT Limited for the purpose of the construction, installation, and maintenance of landscaping, irrigation, and sidewalk along the Greenhouse Road at Postma Elementary School, and authorize the superintendent or designee to negotiate the final terms and conditions and execute all documents. And agenda item I was removed from the agenda. And if any board member wishes to remove one or more items for further discussion, please do so at this time. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consensus items as recommended or amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, it is unanimous.
Go back to J.
Yep. And back to J. The board will consider a level 3 appeal of a level 2 decision denying a parental grievance filed by Lisa and Todd Hoover. Anybody want to ask for, does anybody want a motion? Item J.
Page 181.
Lisa, Todd, and Hoover? Or Lisa and Todd Hoover?
I move that the board uphold the decision made at level 2 by the administration.
Any second? Second? Third?
Understood.
All those in favor? We will now go on to the superintendent briefing portion of the agenda. Dr. Henry will make comments and provide information on the following topics.
Thank you very much. Throughout the year, our Board of Trustees, parents, and community business partners provide valuable volunteer services to the district students, teachers, and support staff. I would like to recognize and thank all of our volunteers. April 12th through 18th was National Volunteer Week, and April is National Volunteer Month. The community support of our district students and teachers is impressive and appreciated, and I say this all the time, it's what makes a real difference in Cy-Fair ISD. The 2015 STAR Assessment continues April 21st and 22nd. In grades 3 through 8 in reading, math, science, and social studies, please be sure to check the district webpage for the testing dates by grade and subject matter. Parents, I would like to thank you for supporting your children and encouraging them to do their very best. The individual student's performance provides valuable data that are used when determining the student's instructional needs for next year. Please help us communicate to our students that they should show us their best as they take these assessments. I'm quite confident our students are well prepared, and with your encouragement, they will do a great job. Our annual retirement banquet, generously sponsored in part by the Cy-Fair Federal Credit Union, is scheduled for Monday, April 27th at 6 p.m. at the Berry Center. Honorees include district employees who are retiring during this school year. This event always provides an evening of entertainment, fun, and delicious food as we honor these valued employees. May 4th through 8th is Teacher Appreciation Week, and Tuesday, May 5th, is National Teacher Day. I would personally like to honor CFISD educators and acknowledge the crucial role our district's teachers play in making sure every student receives a quality education. Wednesday, May 6th, is National School Nurses Day, and I would like to extend my appreciation to this group of professionals who provide dedicated and caring medical support to our students and district. Wednesday, May 13th, is Texas Public School Paraprofessional Day. I'd like to thank all of our paraprofessionals for playing a vital role in helping provide support to the district. We appreciate what each of these groups do, not just on these official days of recognition, but throughout the entire year. And these three groups of people do make up the heart of this school district, and certainly we appreciate all the great service that you do on behalf of our students. Community Programs is now enrolling for 2 different summer programs, CFISD Fun Camps and Club Rewind Summer Camp. In addition, the swim lesson program Splash is available for ages 4 through 18. Swim lessons are now being offered and continue through June at the Cy Ranch Pool on Fry Road. If you are looking for something fun and engaging for your children this summer, please visit our website and click on the Community Programs logo for more details. This year, CFISD will participate in Take Our Children to Work Day on Monday, June 8th. Although the national event is scheduled in April, students will not be excused from classes on April 23rd. We feel June 8th is a better option so students can maximize their instructional time and utilize a summer day to accompany their parents to work. Thank you, Mr. Presidents.
Thank you, Mark. Before we hear from our shadows, I do want to reiterate again, Spencer heard that he was going to run the meeting 10 minutes prior to the meeting. Spencer, you were awesome, brother.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So we'd like to hear from the shadows and what they observed during this meeting, and let's start from this end this time.
Hello everyone again. I'm Sam Witherspoon, and so this has been a really exciting experience for me. I've never been to a board meeting before, and getting to see all these faces in front of me. It's been a real pleasure to get to know Mr. Covey's, bestowed upon me a lot of wisdom about this meeting and how it goes on and everything, and it's been a lot of fun. I especially enjoyed getting the chance to hear about the bills that have been going through the legislature, because I haven't been paying maybe as much attention as I should, because it does have a vested interest in me and my younger friends who are still going to be in Cy-Fair the next couple of years. And so it's good to hear about what's going on and things that I should find some vested interest in and know about. And that was exciting. I also really enjoyed just getting to see the workings of the board and how everything goes down and how it all ran really smoothly with Spencer at the head, and that was also a blast. So it's just been a great opportunity, and I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you.
Hi, is it working?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Alex Kramer, and I just want to thank you for this opportunity to be here and work with Mr. Hoffman. It's been really exciting. I haven't been to a board meeting either. Well, I performed at one earlier this year, but I haven't ever sat through one, and it was very, it was very interesting because I'm in economics right now, so listening to them talk about the bills kind of connected government and economics for me in a new way, and I was really excited to see the work that's being done on Pridgeon in the new natatorium, coming from a swimmer who has been to many different natatoriums. It's very interesting and exciting to see one being built. So, thank you.
Good job.
Okay, I'm not really good at speaking on the spot, but my name is Faith Wright, and I really enjoyed spending my evening here. I thought it was going to be kind of boring, but it ended up not being, so that was awesome. It was really fun to shout out Miss Hartley because she's really funny, and we got along really well, and it was nice. As someone who's on the debate team, I've been to a lot of different like political events and rallies, and I've gone to like different conventions for politicians, and it was nice to see like a government agency actually do stuff. Like you guys actually, pass stuff, and that's really cool because I'm used to nothing getting done. So it was a really good experience as someone who maybe aspires to be a politician someday, to see that if I ever did go into government, I would actually be able to accomplish something maybe. So it was a lot of fun to see like the different ways that these people make decisions that affect me and my younger brother and everyone, like all the kids in the school district, and I think that's really cool. That's all.
Thank you.
I'm Spencer Wagley, your host, and I really appreciate this opportunity because honestly, I thought I was just going to be sitting behind Don Ryan here taking notes on how this works, and I was very surprised, but very glad to see how this works. Because there's always that big the district, the district. I'm like, how does this really show how it works, and it's quite actually efficient, which is not contrary to stereotypes. But it's very nice to see how it works. And I have 3 younger sisters, the youngest which of is only 8, so she's going to be in the system for basically another 10 years. It's nice to know that y'all are doing your best to try to steer it in a nice direction. Also, I am a swimmer too, so it's nice to see that we're having a natatorium that can rival basically any other districts. Only one comes to mind that can even top that one. So this is I was very pleased for this opportunity. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sarah Raymond, and I am truly honored to be here to see the inner workings. Going back to what you said, it's the district. It's this word, this overlooming thing that you hear teachers, administration, staff say all the time, and sitting here seeing it, decisions being made, and the conversations I hear, the conversations I had with Mr. Tom Jackson, they were very vibrant, very enriching because seeing this. This is tomorrow. This is what our education is going to be sooner or later. And seeing these decisions made, knowing that our education is going to, it's going to thrive and progress. And it does take time, but eventually through working and through making these decisions and talking it out, having people come up here and talk about it, it does progress a lot. I would like to thank
those who got me here. I would like to thank my government teacher, my principal, and all of you for having me here, and Mr. Tom Jackson definitely for the conversations we had, and it was very interesting, and it was a true learning experience that I do plan on keeping very memorable, because I do plan on continuing into education reform, hopefully. And this is something that I feel is a great opportunity and a great step into the lake kind of thing, just wetting my feet into it. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Courtney Sternasek, and I'm from Cy Fair, and I'm just truly grateful to be here tonight. After talking with Ms. Mongoya during dinner and with all the other Board of Trustees, I've really learned how much time and dedication they spend on making sure our district is the best it can be. I really enjoyed listening to the renovations of Pridgeon Stadium. After being in drill team for the past 2 years and going along how it is now, I really am excited to see what the future will be for it. And this past summer, I attended Girls State, which was a government program. So listening to the legislative bills tonight, I really enjoyed. And my brother is a junior now, and I know that this will thoroughly affect him next year. And I just had a great time enjoying, and I'd also like to recognize my government and my economic teacher. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and my principal as well at Cy Fair. So thank you so much for having me, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, hello, I'm Josh Head from Cy Creek, and I just thought this was a pretty cool experience. I didn't know it was going to be like this. It's like I'm really in the government right now, in the circle like this, and it was cool to shadow Mr. Snow, because he was an accountant, and that's what I want to do in college. And it was just a pretty cool thing, and I remember it for a while. Pretty neat. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Kanika. I just want to start off by saying that I really like the food. So thank you so much for giving me dinner. And I want to start off by saying that to thank my government teacher, Mr. Arich, for nominating me. It was really fun to meet the superintendent and board of trustees. I really enjoyed the experience. Also, I really enjoyed meeting Mr. Rory Garcia, who was really funny, and he taught me how to be confident and to just like go with the flow and everything, and I really enjoyed this experience. Thank you so much.
I waited 3 hours to get in this microphone, and it feels at the moment just as awesome as I thought it would. But for one, I just want to thank all y'all for having me here, because this is really, really cool experience, just getting to see how all this works, because we go through the school system and we know how class works and we know how our individual school works, but a whole lot of the actual district workings go completely over our head because we simply don't see it. So it was just really cool getting to see all of this happen. It's a completely different world that actually has affected my school career, my success as a student. So I, for one, want to start with thanking everybody here, board members, everybody. Thank you for everything y'all do for me and my education. Y'all are awesome. I really appreciate it. I want to thank my teachers for recommending me and putting me here and giving me this awesome experience. I want to thank my mommy and daddy for giving me an awesome head on my shoulders, which might have also got me here. I want to thank the person I was shadowing, Dr. Marcias, because I've had a lot of really good teachers, and I've been blessed with that, and they all have cared a lot about my success as a student and who I was as a person, and I got the exact same feeling from Dr. Marcias. She's actually taken a lot of interest in not just my success as a student, but who I am as a person, my interests, what I like, and what I care about, and that means a lot on a much deeper level than just a student. And I know that she cares not only about me, but all the other students in this district, and that's a big deal, because I know all of y'all feel the exact same way about all the students in the district. So, thank everybody. I appreciate it for everything that y'all do and work for me and every other student that y'all work for.
Obviously, when you've seen these students up here, you know that our future is in great hands. Some amazing young men and women up here. That will conclude our meeting. Thank you for coming tonight, and have a great night.
Thank y'all.